Can you reuse soil from your containers? Yes. That was a quick video. Now, depending on where you go to find your advice, certain people will tell you that you cannot reuse your potting soil in your containers. However, I've probably got around about 60 to 70 containers out here. If I was to live by that principle, I would be broke because I would have to buy all of that compost all over again. So what I'm going to show you today is how I refresh my old soil and continuously use it. Let's get straight into it. What I normally do is I have one massive container that I just dump in all of my old soil from some of the pots that have finished flowering. So let me show you that now. As you can see, I just fill this container with all my old soil. I've even got broken pots and stuff in there. I've got some leaf litter. There are some dead roots in there too. It's really important to note that actually before we start adding that old compost into our big container, that we are only putting in soil from healthy plants. So if you've got a plant that is diseased, perhaps it had, for example, tomato blight or any other kind of fungal disease, that is soil that you want to throw away, because ultimately you don't want to be passing that along and then reinfecting all of your new plants for the new season. I'm going to just add in the contents of this old pot too, and as you can see, I just scrunch it all up and add it into the pile. Now, of course, over time that leaf litter will decompose, but we have to really be smart about this. Being balcony gardeners, we don't have the same volume of organisms that would normally break down some of this leaf litter into compost. That means it is going to take a little bit longer to decompose. Because this leaf litter is slightly porous, what that will help with is oxygen in the soil, which is going to help our plants in the long run. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of water, then mix it in thoroughly. Okay. So it's looking a little better now, but that's just the first step. The reason why I've dipped it out is because if you put a fresh layer of soil in the pot on top of this, all of this dry old crusty soil is going to compact right down in the container. So what will happen is you'll get a layer of really great fresh new soil, and then going down into this soil which is not exactly the most nutritious. And what will happen is over time the roots of your new plants will thrive in that new soil, but once you add in the fact that you'll be constantly watering that container, this old soil will become a lot more dense and compacted, and then that will mean that your new roots won't be able to access that soil, and you'll probably see a kind of stunt in the growth of those plants. So the best thing to do is to mix everything up completely. The aim is to make this compost mix as airy as possible. I buy compost. So let me show you my new compost. So basically this bag is like 125 litres. The reason being is I live up on 18 floors, and the amount of compost I go through with all of these containers, getting those small bags is just, it's pointless for me. So I kind of bulk buy my compost. But what I'm going to do now is add some of this fresh compost into my old compost mix. I'll add in about half the volume of what's already in the container of the new compost. Now that I've mixed them together, what I've done is I moved half from in here and put half in there. This I'm going to save to use later. This I'm going to use now, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to further amend the soil. Let's just take a second to appreciate the pond. So as an organic fertilizer, what I've got here are some worm castings. So I'm going to add in a couple of handfuls of this to my compost mixture. Then I'm going to add in some fish blood and bone fertilizer. It helps to promote great growth in your plants, increases your crop yield, and is also rich in nitrogen, so it really helps some of your leafy greens. I've got a handful of that in there, and then I'm just going to mix everything up. Compared to where it started, this looks absolutely fantastic. Now this compost is going to be my base level compost. So with this one I can use it for pretty much anything. I can do my seed starting with it. I even use that soil now to start repotting some of my containers that are growing too big for their current pots, just like these. Now with the compost in the yellow container, I'll be using that for some tomatoes. So to that mixture, I'll be adding some tomato feed into that soil as well. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully, I'll see you again soon. Bye!